This channel is stuck on something smooth. Welcome to Ray Roan Who Does Music. Where today we're looking at Welcome to Ray Roan Who Does Music, where today we're looking at a commission from my friend Kevin for Tai Verdes' first album, TV. This is my first real dive into an album with more contemporary vibes, or R&B as he explained it to me, as I usually stick to rock or metal, with pop punk being a close sister genre. But I'm very excited to not just have an excuse to check out something different from a different musical space, but do so in a review as well. Let's see what impressed me about this first foray into this particular soundscape in a long time. What stuck out to me initially about this album is probably the most obvious element, the vocals, but it's for a more interesting reason than just, oh, I think the vocals are nice. On the first listen through the album, I found myself doing a lot of thinking on Verdes' vocal delivery and how it liked to sound dragged out while being a good snap-by-snap tempo all at the same time, which in some songs sounded very natural and other times had me second-guessing things. By the time I finished the album and came back for seconds, I started to really feel like I understood the vibe for the choice of vocal delivery a little bit more. Songs like Real World and Fake Prophet had this very natural feeling concerning that, whereas I initially wasn't too much into other tracks that did the same thing in that respect, like We Could Have Some Cute Kids or Something to Cry About. I think what I'm trying to get across here is that it's the higher pitch and shift in those vocals that had me second guessing, but that is, of course, part of the genre as I did a little more digging into similar artists that were put next to him within the same space. But looking at the album overall, I found the singing to be the highlight when I initially went in thinking that I'd be more interested in the instrumental makeup as usual. The vocals, it takes a second delivery, and upon a third delivery, it was an even greater impression to really, I suppose, understand things. Speaking of those songs, I did some looking into the album's track list and was surprised to see Fake Prophet not have as much popularity as other songs, given that it has just as much heart as the other tracks. The lyrics are very personal, perhaps more so than other songs on the album, but not quite as much as a couple songs that people usually gravitate towards. And they offer a more specific look on the theme of fame that's explored all throughout the album, with how it's affecting his relationship with this girl. You see this explored in lines like, "'Cause every step I take towards the public eye, I see a little piece of my little baby die," which I can assume is in reference to his partner's indifference and opposition to his approach to stardom based on the information we're given. The themes of being famous and inching more towards being a public figure get a few looks throughout the album's runtime, but I think the strongest cut in this area besides Fake Prophet is on the late song Mama Told Me I'ma Be, which is another very personal song that sees Tai reflect on what his mom told him, as the song says, how one day he's destined to be something big, which is a very on-the-nose track in retrospect, looking at how this album was all but guaranteed to be a success based off the singles coming out before and after the album announcement, but it's still a cute track regardless. Obviously the song was written in the sense of, his mom talking to him when he was a kid. His mom didn't say, "You're going to go big on TikTok and blow up," but it's one of those things where you look at it, it's like, yeah, no kidding, you're going to be big. I'm listening to the album. I found this on TikTok. I know. Speaking of those songs, there are a few songs on here that I'd take a bet anyone on the app TikTok has heard, at least in passing, those being A-OK and Stuck in the Middle specifically. Two songs that, while I personally believe are a bit overplayed, perhaps due in fact to their relevance on the short-form video app, they're still relatively solid with a very nice bass groove in the latter song that gives it a deeper sound that a lot of the more basic instrumentation on the album sort of makes up for. The song talks about being stuck in a situationship, seemingly, where one person is reading a different vibe than the other, and either because of communication or mixed signals, the message isn't coming across clear, making for this awkward halfway there situation becoming even more complicated. A-OK is a very simplistic song, on the other hand, giving off a sort of fuck it and vibe energy, making lemons out of lemonade, and the positive energy radiating off of it is about as bright as the sun in outer space, like the lyrics say. Even at points where he straight up admits to having some horrible days, he pivots immediately into saying that he's making it work, working through it with a smile, in fact. This album is a long-stated effort to promote a positive mindset, which I think we do need a lot more of. It goes without saying that positivity is a thing that's found better and received better than just outward negativity or negativity for the sake of being negative. So at the very least, I can give Tai Verdes credit for using that and making that pure focus here on the album. You even see positivity drift in on songs like Drugs or I Deserve to Be Alone. Tai is solid as hell at being able to turn any of these situations on their head for a positive spin, even when the song isn't as good in terms of pure critical measure, such as comparing the simplistically solid A-OK to something like Solamente. The energy coming off the tracks and into your headphones keeps it at just the right level to be enjoyable and just plain good. For these reasons, TV by Tai Verdes gets a score of 7.7 out of 10. And that's a review. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Let's get a conversation going. If you're interested in a commission, be sure to comment and I'll hit you up. Have a good day. Stay hydrated. I'll see you next time.